So I don't really do videos like this, but I really wanted to talk about this. Jeffrey Dean Morgan posted something very interesting on his Instagram. As you can see, he's reading the second and third compendium for Invincible, which basically confirms that to some capacity, he's going to be involved in either the show or the live action movie. I'm a huge fan of Invincible. I've read the entire series. I really love the animated series, and I've been dying for a season 2. So, I was a little disappointed by that tease. So, hopefully we get something a little more concrete soon, or another trailer or something to kind of hold us over until we finally get that season. But what I find so interesting about this is that I think it basically confirms that he's going to be a part of the voice cast. Now, someone I talked to mentioned that he might be good for real life Omni-Man. I think that's an interesting choice, but he'd really have to bulk up, and he's also 56. I don't know, he might be a tad bit old to play Omni-Man, and I also just don't see this live action movie coming to fruition anytime in the next 5 years, so I think that might be off the table, especially by then. He might be pressing 60. I think it's probably off the table, but he does look the part, and I think it would be pretty cool anyway. My knee-jerk reaction was to think that he was going to be playing Conquest, and just for anyone who's seen the series but doesn't want any spoilers, I won't be spoiling any plot lines or any potential spoilers for the show. I'll be talking about characters and kind of breaking down who they are, but nothing about plot lines, nothing about anything like that. So if you're still sensitive to it and you just don't want to know anything, know nothing about the characters, then I'd click off. But again, I'm not going to be revealing anything, so you're safe. Going back to what I was saying though, my knee-jerk reaction is that I think he's going to be playing Conquest. Conquest is another pretty brutal Viltrumite villain. He's used pretty sparingly throughout the story, and that's the one thing that actually makes me think that he might not be Conquest, because you don't bring in Jeffrey Dean Morgan to play a very small character. Conquest, he had a pretty small but very impactful part of the story. Like, every time he shows up, you always feel the danger of him, so I find that very interesting. I'm excited for that character, but it might not be him. And what most people rightfully pointed out is that he's probably going to be playing Thragg. Thragg is the main villain of like the entire story of Invincible. He's a pretty brutal dictator and ruler of the Viltrumites, and he has this very perverse idea of how the Viltrumite bloodline is just superior, and it's overall pretty creepy and perverse. And I think that Jeffrey Dean Morgan could bring a very interesting layer to this character, and it would also be pretty ironic that he's playing the arch nemesis of a character voiced by Steven Yeun, when of course, in another Robert Kirkman based show, he killed Steven Yeun, so it's almost like a rematch between those two actors. Now, this is a really good character, very scary character, and to be honest, I don't think that he will be showing up in season 2 though. Thragg doesn't show up until a decent amount into the story. I don't see us finally meeting him until maybe season 3, but that's also why I think that he only would have announced it now. I'm pretty sure that season 2 is done, recorded and everything. Now they're just filling in the animation where they need to, but since they haven't, I don't believe at least, I think that there's a definite potential that season 3 could feature Thragg, played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Not only that, but I also think that season 2 is probably going to focus more on this character Angstrom Levy as the villain, who's a multiversal villain that basically has access to every other universe and kind of uses that against Mark. But overall, I love the idea that Jeffrey Dean Morgan would play the ultimate villain of this universe and the ultimate villain to Invincible, and I'm glad that they take it so seriously that they would cast an actor like Jeffrey Dean Morgan to potentially fill this role. But of course, we don't really know until all is done and said, so I guess we'll just, see what happens. Let me know if you guys like Invincible. Let me know what you think in the comments. See you next time.